Al-Hamamsi from Middle East. Our global S&OP community podcast mission is to build a global community from supply chain, marketing, trade marketing, sales and finance all over the world, where everyone's voice could be heard and listened. Every week, we host a new episode with great thought leader in the S&OP industry. We believe that one word, one story, or one conversation could open up the light in the screen of your consciousness and you'll never be the same again. We discuss hot and trending topics with our subject matter experts by asking the right questions that uncover their valuable experience in our show. You can visit our website ahmedkhaled.co. Stay tuned every week with our global S&OP community podcast.
Hello, and welcome everybody. We're so happy to be back after like 3 weeks of taking some time off. And happy Ramadan to all our friends from the Middle East. And happy Ramadan to you, Ahmed. And of course, we're so happy to be back. It's the global S&OP community for every people who's joining us. Of course, it's knowledge you will not find in books. We're interviewing and having people from different supply chain, not only supply chain, but from marketing, from trade marketing, sales, finance, subject matter experts, CEOs, consultants from all over the globe, of course, to share their knowledge and experience with you that will touch our lives and touch everybody's lives, of course. And we want your voice to be listened to and heard. So please make sure that you ask anytime questions if you have any questions, of course, with us. And we want it to be an interactive show always, and it's your show. It's the global S&OP community. Ahmed, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, Hamamsi. Thank you for the warm introduction and welcome back again. I think we need to send two messages today after being off for 3 weeks. Ramadan Kareem, definitely for our friends all over the world, our amazing community, and definitely also Happy Easter for our friends
Yes,
in those
yes,
days.
exactly.
So I want to tell you all of our community that we missed you really. Yes, we
Yes,
were off maybe for the last 3 weeks, but it was out of our hand totally. So we would like to thank you all, especially all people that they direct message us on LinkedIn and asked where are we and where is our global S&OP community. Thank you for asking, and we're finally back. And we come back with a new topic today. And I'm sure this topic touches a lot of our daily struggles inside any company or inside any business. And our topic today will be around the managing tough discussions and questions inside meetings. It's real struggles, and let me admit this that it can drain your energy and your emotions at work. And it's one, I believe, it's one of the major reasons of having a mental health challenges inside the workplace. If you are always under stress and the pressure, that someone can ask you tough question, or maybe a tough a discussion you have it inside a meeting or with people in the workplace, it will literally put you in corner, and even you will emit too much negative emotions all over the place. It's even, Hamamsi, it's affecting our life with family,
yes,
with friends,
yes,
and it even, you could reach to a level that you hate everything around you, from people and work and everything around you. So, but the question now, how can we deal with these kinds of tough discussions? How can we manage all of these tough discussion? How can we take the control of our emotions instead of letting our emotions take the control over us? How can we be very clear about what we need inside the meeting and what's the purpose of our meeting? What is the role that we are playing inside these meetings? I know it's tough questions to be answered. That's why we have a great leader today who will reveal the secrets behind answering those questions. And our global thought leader today is Philip Auinger. So, Philip is a supply chain coach, and he coaches supply chain people to reach to the next level. He is well known as a career companion. He trains young talent to people or just the young talent, just students to learn soft skills and mindsets so they have fulfilling careers and they could be later as inspiring leaders. Actually, he's not only coach, but Philip, he has a great experience in many multinational companies with various supply chain roles in Austria. So companies like Danone, Samsung, and Henkel. And then he decided to dedicate his life to leave a real impact on people's life by coaching them and inspiring them to reach to their next level. So may I ask you please to welcome with us Dr. Philip, but before we just introduce him, you know what we will do, right?
Oh,
Wow, what a welcome. Thank you.
welcome,
Welcome to
Philip.
the show, Philip. It's a pleasure having you today, and I think we have a great episode because it's very rare and a very unique topic today. So welcome to the show. We are very glad to have you.
Yes, thanks to both of you. This is a wonderful opportunity. And we already had a short discussion before this. We
Yeah,
love providing value to the community. And I think that what
yes.
you've set up here is amazing. And especially the option now for people to type their questions now. I mean, where else would you get this? So really big thanks for having me. This is very exciting. So when I had the applause there in the background, my heart started pounding. Great to be here.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you,
So
Philip.
let's send some greetings for our lovely audience, as
Let's
usual.
see.
Let's start. Our friend
Abdullah Malik, Abdul Malik,
Abdul
interesting.
Malik.
Thank you, Abdul Malik.
Interesting. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for tuning in and Ramadan Kareem. So our
Saad
friend,
Gamal Mansour. Hello, dears. Thank you,
hel-
Saad, for joining us.
hello Saad, thank you so much for joining in. Sharmila, hello everyone, thank you so
Hi,
much. Sharmila,
Sharmila.
happy Easter. Thank you. Our friend Sharmila, she's sending also Ramadan Kareem, thank you and happy Easter
Thank you.
and Ramadan Kareem for all of you. Our great friend Tess, great to see you
Hi,
again.
Tasneeman.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you for tuning in. And our friend
Sushandra
Sushandra.
Malik. Great topic.
Gr-
Thank you,
Great
Sushandra,
topic.
for joining.
Thank you, Sushandra. Our friend
Alphonse
Alphonse. Alphonse.
Sogoyo. Hi,
Hi.
Alphonse. How are you?
Thank you so much for tuning in, Alphonse. We have great friends today. Shamsuddin and Said. Hello to
Yes,
all.
from
Thank you so
Egypt.
much.
Thank you, Shams.
Yes.
Thank you for joining.
Great to see you. Thank you so much. Our friend Inj Muhammad Al Ghamdi. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, he's asking, is this episode recorded? It's recorded, and you can see it even after going live. It will be in our channel. So thank you, Muhammad, for tuning in. We have lovely friends, by the way, huh? Today, can you see?
Yes. Bofindra Shavan, great insight. One is power. Thank you, Bofindra, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Definitely our guru, Dr. Ahmed
Ahmed
Musa.
Mus.
Hey, yo, good topic, very important subject. Thank you
Hi,
so
Ahmed. How are
much.
you?
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Dr.
Dr.
Mina.
Mina from Florida. Hi, Doctor.
Wow.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you so
us.
much. Happy Easter, Doctor. Thank you so much. We have Fatin.
Fatin. Yes. Thank you,
Hello to all.
Fatin,
Thank
for.
you.
Hello.
Thank you so much for tuning in as well. I think we can take till tomorrow. Just send us
Yes.
updates throughout.
Pragmeta from
Great show,
India,
thanks.
friend. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Interesting and useful topic. Thank you,
Thank you
Pragmeta.
so much. Thank you
Thanks,
guys so
thanks.
much. We have
Moises
Moses.
Campos. Very interesting
Very
topic.
interesting.
Thank you, Moises. Thank you.
Thank you so Moses. Our friend Ghada Salam. Thank you so much. She's saying hi, welcome back, and very excited to have this topic. Thank you so much, Ghada, for
Thank you,
tuning in. And
everybody.
Ramadan Kareem. Last, and then we will jump into our lovely discussion today. So our
Yes.
friend Ahmed is
Well,
saying
Ahmed
interesting
Al
discussion.
Mazoun. Thank you,
Yes.
Ahmed. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
joining.
much. So thank you guys for tuning in, and Ramadan Kareem, happy Easter to all of you. Today we have our lovely, great thought leader, Philippe, and we will cover a lot of things. I want you to interact with us. I think it's something related to our soft skills, so don't be shy to ask whatever question into your mind. We'll jump into that. But before just jumping into your questions, let's move the wheel and ask you, Dr. Philip, how to manage a tough discussion inside a meeting.
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and I can tell you I've been in many of these situations, so I know what they feel like. You can just feel your heart pounding at you know, oh God, this is going to be unpleasant. The one thing I learned over the years, and I did speak in front of also like C-level, C-suite people, is that first of all, before I go into the meeting, I always try to kind of get bulletproof. I don't know, you might even know the song. There's a song that I like to listen to. It's called Bulletproof. So then I can
Yeah.
walk in and I know nothing will happen to me. I'm in my self-secure state. So even if there's some kind of a question and it might get uncomfortable, that doesn't mean that it will hurt me because I have on my armor. And for some people, it's really getting this energy and getting pumped up with music, for example. For other people, it might be meditating. So to say, before you get on stage, before you get into that meeting, take a minute, maybe go to the toilet, close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. And then when you calm down, then you go into the meeting. It really depends. That depends on the person, whatever you prefer here. And then when you're in that situation and you have these questions, now I also do presentation trainings very often. And the one thing that's always recommended, no matter if it's live or if it's, I mean, really in a room or if it's here virtual, is whenever you get a question, move out of your presentation seat or whatever it is. So kind of move away. So if you answer a question here, then okay, maybe it's unpleasant, but afterwards you're back where you were. And here you're in your protected state. Here nothing happens to you. And you can do that both in a real room or virtually. So you see this already makes a small difference. So this is my question position, for example.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, at this again, if you maybe had very unpleasant questions here, you can always finalize with, okay, does that answer the question? Shall we proceed? Then you give the other person the chance to react. Typically, they're going to say, yeah, go on. And that gives you another 1, 2, 3 seconds to catch your breath again. Because very often we feel in our breath if something is uncomfortable in our body.
Yeah.
So then you have the moment to take that deep breath, and then you're standing here again, and then you can continue.
I
Good
can
one.
relate. Yes, I can relate to this because I relate because we're human. Let's say
Yeah.
we cannot deny this. Most people think even if I'm a leader in a very high hierarchy inside a company that I don't feel this, I'm human and I have emotions, so I can feel the same. But as you said, just everything has a controllable things. But how can we control this? And just I'll tell you how in my view how I just manage this based on my philosophy. So tough questions, it will be there even at any time it will be there, but now how you can put like a guardrails or controllable points just to manage yourself any stress, because it will generate some anxiety. So I keep saying this before I do anything. I know that there will be a tough discussion, but before going into any tough discussion, number one, I should prepare well. So what do I mean by preparing well? I know that I'm going with an executives, and I know that there will be a lot of questions. Did I prepare well? And what do I mean here by preparing well? Asking myself before being asked. So I ask myself hard questions, and not just preparing or just a presentation. I show something here, but what are the reason behind this? How can I dig deep? What could be the expected questions, tough questions? So ask yourself before doing or letting people ask you. And second one, even if listen well, because if you don't listen well, you will be annihilated. You will build stories, or this feeling when people start to ask you many questions, and you just pause for a moment like this. Your mind was paralyzed on one element of the 10 elements that they are discussing, and you start prepare the answer. So just don't pause, listen well, and let your mind absorb. Just don't make your mind being paralyzed. And after finishing this is what we say, we name it like effective listening well. Second point, or the third point, which is repeat the questions. This is something that I've learned, because again, it doesn't mean that I listened well, that I perceived it well. So I need to ask myself that, repeat the same questions, that I understand your question right? So I ask the same question. Why? Two reasons. Number one, to affirm that my understanding is right. Two is just giving myself a time to react and give myself just time to think in a different way. So this is two I would say two major options that you could have. And let me admit, even if you prepare well, and even if you just did your part, could be another questions out of this context that you had. But at this moment, there is no issue, or there is no shame that to say that I don't know. I
Yes.
don't know, and I'll come back to you. I will come back to you.
Exactly.
This is the reason. But if you have, and I'm just saying based on my personal philosophy, once I just master this, all the anxieties and all the stress, all the pressure that I had before any meeting, it goes away, because I have my framework. What happened? Will I die? No, I learned.
Yeah.
I will get the info, and I'll come back to you. No problem at all. Because
Yeah.
again, as some people, they got paralyzed. I'll tell you, Philip. Oh, my image will be very bad if I say something. I need to improvise. I need to say anything. But take care, people. If your reputation got hurted, and first impression will be like we will last for a long time. Yeah, people, they would appreciate that you don't have knowledge right now, and you will come back, than having a devastated reputation. This is
Yeah.
just my advice.
Yeah. May I add
Yeah,
something
good
about
one.
this I don't know?
Please.
I use that. I'm not afraid of saying I don't know, because it even underlines your authority, it underlines your reputation, because it means if you say that you don't know, all the other times you're speaking, they know that you know what you're talking about. So this actually helps you in all the other situations, because they know, well, if Philip says he doesn't know here, then okay, fair enough, but it means the rest of the time he knows what he's talking about. And just this is like a pro tip, and trust me, it works. If you get one of these questions and you don't know how to answer, always have some paper and a pen with you. Because if you get this question, you can say, I don't know, but good that you bring this point up. We didn't consider this so far. Let me note it down and let me get back to you. And once you write it down, people will see, ooh, she took that question really seriously. And very crucial, if you say you'll get back to them, let's say tomorrow, get back to them, ideally still today, latest tomorrow. Don't let this drag on, because that ruins your reputation. Because
Yes,
then you sound
exactly.
like, oh,
Yeah.
but he never answers to the question, what's happening, and so on. That can really ruin your reputation.
I think
100%.
it's part of communication. People want to see that you are concerned, that you're doing the presentation, you're prepared, and that you're concerned, that they give a question and you are concerned to give them back the feedback quickly. So it's part of, like you're saying, it's your reputation. So it's okay, as we were saying, both of you, that we don't know everything. We're experts, but we don't know everything. So it's usually, we should not panic. We should not feel like people are here to attack us, for example, or give us some hard questions. Because sometimes I know I spoke to people. They say this guy, like for example, in the meeting, he hates me, or we have problem with the sales team. So the sales team is trying to corner us, or the top management is trying to corner us. No, it's never. It's always a game in your mind. So in your mind, if you feel that, you're going to attract that. And you're going to be paralyzed, like you're both saying, you're not answering the questions. So everything will pass, and don't worry, just be prepared, like Ahmed's saying, and take it easy, take it light, and it will be fine. We're all subject matter experts. We have experience, and we have knowledge to share. So it will pass,
100%.
as you were saying. Yes.
Hamamsi, as you said, if you take it in a perspective of learning, you will
Yeah.
not be annihilated, or just the anxiety will go over quickly. But
Yes.
again, we care about our image or our position, how we look like in front of people, because we don't we have a lack of some knowledge, or we have a lack of some information currently. So we got panic. But again, there
Yes.
is nothing to be ashamed of. If I don't have the information right now, I'll come back to you. Even
Yes.
guys, okay, this information is very critical. Okay, I will call the guys and I bring the information right now. There is no issue. But
Yeah.
just if you know the ways how you can deal with such situations, all the anxiety will go over. And I keep saying this because of the stress that we have it in companies right now, and the pressure on margins. And you can see what's happening all over the world with the VUCA environment. Everyone is trying to pressure, is hammering everybody else. But again, guys, don't be pressured just because affecting your mental health, it will kill everything in your life. Just it will affect your relationship with your family, your health, everything in your life. So just try to relieve. Just relief, totally.
Yes, yes, relax, relief. So it will take us, I think, to the second question, Philippe. Like, is there some kind of soft skills or some kind of training to be relaxed or to feel easy during this kind of meetings and during this kind of tough discussions? What are the soft skills that you give us advice, or all our audience, or to all your students, how you train them to be ready to this kind of conversations, tough discussions?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is there's no rule that applies to everyone. So this is what I
Yeah,
mentioned
exactly.
before. For some, this might be deep breathing and meditation. For some, this might be jumping and doing the victory pose. I mean, there's all sorts of nice tips for this. You could do like dress for success. If you say you always know that whenever you wear this suit or this dress, you know that you feel good, and you kind of, you also shine the authority, and you shine the, let's say, your most impressive self. That could be something. Or you say, okay, you'd have your shot of espresso before you go, whatever. This really is something that you can discover. And I always feel this is like a buffet. So there's 10 things you can choose. And do you want the spaghetti today, or do you want the, I don't know, the curry, whatever? You figure out this is what you like the most, and that's what you apply then. I still think that it makes sense to test various things, because just because you've done something for the last years doesn't mean that it's the best fit for you. That's why I think it makes sense to test. And here, think about the 5 senses you have. So maybe you're not aware of this, but maybe you're a very haptic person. So you want to do something with your body. Well, then maybe the victory pose is exactly right for you. You go to the toilet before that meeting, you do your victory pose, or you make a big grin or something. And you might be the kind of person who's very receptive to feel a very positive impact or a very positive result from that kind of thing. Or as I said, it's the espresso, that's a flavor kind of thing. Maybe you have a smell that calms you down. So all of these things, just give it a try. And there's honestly, just Google it. I mean, you can find 1,000 pieces of advice on this. I'm not the only one who owns this knowledge. But what I always like to underline is give it a try. Whenever you have this kind of upcoming situation, try this. And then the week afterwards, try the next, and so on, until you find the one thing that you feel, ooh, I like this. Do you have any tips? How do you deal with this? For example, if we have a call like here where we might have a few hundred visitors, how do you deal with it?
As you said, it's with trial and error, and also with experience. So now I've been like doing maybe 100 live shows, or more than 100 live shows. So as experience, for now, I'm just talking to you. I'm just chatting with you. Normally, I don't feel any kind of pressure. It's okay. But at the beginning, I remember first time I was on with the really guru with million followers. I was so tensed. But what was good, sometimes when you meet people who are very experienced, they tell you to calm down. It's okay. Nothing will happen, because at the beginning, when you're trying something new, you're always it's out of your comfort zone, so you don't know what will happen. What will happen if suddenly something happen? Ahmed is off, I cannot hear him, or people cannot hear me, or what shall I do if I go out? Connection problem with the connection. My reputation. What will happen? Everything passes. as you
Yeah.
said, and it's normal. It comes with experience. You gain confidence, and you gain confidence to talk to people. You gain confidence to have talk to people publicly and go and share your knowledge, and you'll find and you get right, and you directly the nice thing is that you directly get credit from people and get feedback from people that if you're doing well. And sometimes people will tell you we cannot hear you well, there's problem with it's constructive. You take constructive feedback. You don't feel that this or sometimes people will tell you this subject is off, this subject was good. So it's good to talk to people, to take, for example, polls, what we should talk about, all that. So
Feedback.
this comes, I think, with experience. You beat the fear. With experience, you beat the fear, and you start to feel confident, and it's nice. It's really a great feeling.
Yeah, you remind me also, Philip and Ahmed, about my first show in front of the camera, because I'll tell you how I take it a step, because the anxiety, I'll tell you, I started from which anxiety. So I started recorded videos. And there's a big difference between being live on camera or live streaming and being on a camera that you could have like thousands of shots to prepare and appear the best version of yourself. Nobody see how many shots that you have, how many scenes that you could have, how many mistakes that you had, how many problems that you had in just in front of the camera, in the back. But when I take this decision just to go live with people and be very authentic, that I'm speaking normally like this, not like preparing, scripting everything, I speak from heart, it was not easy. But again, it's a practice. It comes by practice. For sure, there is an anxiety, again, because we are human. Even the best speakers, when they come and they speak, they have emotions. They have some fears. But the game is how to control your fears. Will you allow your fears just to take it over, or you can control them? Here is the game. And my humble advice is just build some rituals, some habits, like what we're saying here. This kind of podcast, it has many effects. Okay, one of them definitely, it's just sharing knowledge with people. Okay, we're giving and getting visibility from others, and part of it also is our personal development, because again, we are, as a human, how can we speak, how can we listen, we improve, we got to improve when we host people, when we listen to their values. It's part of also from our personal development. So it's a practice, and it comes by time. It doesn't come over day or overnight. This is what I can say. So if you allow me, I'll jump into some of our audience.
Yeah, let's get some of their lovely comments.
Yes.
So Ahmed Musa is saying it was not easy to deal with anger during meetings. Sometimes I wanted to shout and throw some stones over. However, I found the magic key to control my anger, putting myself in other shoes.
Definitely.
Great comment.
I can relate to this, because again, sometimes we just perceive people based on their behavior right now, but not in their intention. Maybe they have another intention, but what they behave differently. That's why put yourself. It's very, very, very valid point. They don't mean anything bad, by the way. But put yourself in their shoes or their place. The total picture will be totally different.
100%. And it helps you also anticipate the kind of unpleasant questions that you might get. Because very often supply chain projects, when we say, okay, we want to reduce our manufacturing footprint, or we want to reduce stocks, whatever, if you're selling a kind of concept like that to sales, their main concern will be, oh my God, there's not going to be any stock, and I'll have lost sales, and I won't reach my targets, and so on.
Yes.
If you know that in advance, then you sell the concept differently. Because then, of course, you could say, yeah, we're optimizing, so we're making sure that we don't spend all of our cash on slow movers, but instead we're going to bump up our stock in fast movers.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be true, honestly. They
can't
know anyway.
You're
but
selling.
just underline that you will never, ever run out of the top seller, for example. And then the sales rep will sit there, yeah, sure, whatever, do what you want. They wouldn't ask you an evil question.
Yeah. You're selling the topic to sales, so yes.
I am not saying that you should always lie.
Yes.
Lie from time to time might help.
Yeah, but choose your phrase exactly according to the target audience or who you are talking to. So you cannot tell sales we're going to go out of stock, or we're going to reduce the stocks. They will get panic attack.
100%. So we have our friend Nielsen. Interesting need of the hour topic. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Nils.
Nielsen.
Everybody, every
Um,
day.
yes, 100%. Our friend Bragg, can you take this, Mr. Hamamsi?
Yes, this is strong needed to create a background and manage discussion in a careful manner. No harm in keeping a script with possible cross questions and suitable and crisp answers to same. It's about managing mindset, actually.
Definitely. Yes,
Pragmata, yes,
100%.
mindset is very important, of course.
Thank you, Bragg.
Thank you, Prag.
Our friend Shamila, she's sending
Happy
happy
Easter.
Easter.
Greetings, Easter greetings.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. Thank you. Gideon,
Thank
thank
you, great.
you.
Thank you,
Great,
my
thank
friend.
you. Our friend Bragg, he's
The
saying
key
the key.
should be, yeah, go ahead. The key should be to stay focused on the message to be delivered, and also important is to make sure that the same has been understood correctly. Definitely,
100%.
fact.
Now, I'd like to add a point here because I see this
Please.
very often when people prepare a presentation. They spend hours and hours preparing Excel charts and putting a nice PowerPoint and so on, and preparing what they're going to say. Great idea. Be prepared, know what you're going to say. And now, food for thought, and I want to challenge everybody who's in the audience, and also you two fellas here. Did you then also think how you would say it, where you would stand on your stage while you're saying it? Did you think of a gesture, for example, that you would do? Did you think
Yeah.
of the tone of your voice, the volume?
Yeah.
Did you think of that sort of thing, how you deliver the message? That's where you make the biggest difference. And this can be minor things like saying, okay, we have option number 1, which is about this and this, and option number 2 is about this and this. This will help people digest, okay, we're here, but then afterwards you can relate back to it and say, yeah, so option 1 we spoke about, this is what we wanted to discuss now in detail. So you kind of anchored that this is option number 1 here. And that's just a minor detail, but if you put effort into things like gestures, mimics, voice, and so on, how you move around on stage, what you're wearing, and so on, this makes a huge difference to your credibility and
Yes.
to your reputation as a whole. And that's why I always want to challenge people who spend hours and hours preparing what they're going to say. Yeah, good idea, but go beyond that. Think about how you're going to say it. It's a huge
I
difference.
think that's can you give applause, please, Ahmed?
Please, yeah, Hamza, because this is it's the combo.
Yeah,
It's the combo.
I think because this is really a bullseye, like they say, and really people, like he's saying, spend a lot of time and maybe making the presentation with PowerPoint, fancy slides, and all that. But how to present is
Totally
it
different.
can kill it. It can kill it if you just say what's on the slide or what is on the curve or what is the main point of the slide. You have to take care what is the message that you want to deliver and how that you're going to stand, what you're going to wear. You must test if you're going online. Test maybe sometime before you go the sound, everything. So it can be a winner or a killer for your presentation. Though you spent hours for preparing, but you did not get like the tone of your voice. You want to excite people. You want people to be engaged with you. You don't want people to sleep while you are presenting with and sometimes it's very disappointing. Sometimes people really spend, like you said, hours. But at the end of the day, the presentation did not go well because of how to deliver the message. And I see people who really they don't have a lot of knowledge, but they know how to present.
Exactly.
They don't have exactly the full knowledge but how they present, how they wear, how they talk. They are better than subject matter experts who have years and years, but they don't know how to present. Years and years of experience.
Yeah. Yes. Now, don't get me started on this subject because I also give presentation trainings for supply chainers who want to convince their audience, not just on data, but with this sort of thing. I can't talk about it for hours. Just one small suggestion, and again, the pro tip here, if you think of voice.
Yeah.
If we speak with a very high voice, we're really conveying that we're emotionally attached to this. Wow, this is really so interesting. Guys, let's do this. Wow, this is really so interesting. Guys, let's do this. Sounds different. A deep voice conveys authority, conveys self-security, and so on. So if I want to say, okay, we have some very tough measures coming up, but I know that we'll get through it. That sounds different than saying, yeah, we have something big coming up and I know we'll get through it. Ugh. They sound very nervous. And that alone already makes a huge difference. Don't overdo it. Don't turn into an opera singer who suddenly sounds very unrealistic. But that's a very simple trick. And I would suggest first to listen to other people speaking and analyze exactly that. Analyze, are they speaking with a deep voice? Are they speaking with a high voice? Or do they have like a melody going on?
Yeah.
And then you realize, ooh, they're nice to listen to because they're doing this and this and this. And then based on that, you can learn and you can try and kind of fake it till you make it. Test what works for you. But again, I can talk about presentation skills for hours, so don't get me started.
I can say also, it's all about storytelling. The best speakers, they are very good storytellers. They shouldn't have the full knowledge, but they know how to hook their audience. They know how to swing the emotions, not to have, a monotone emotions all the way or just, fixed, constant line. People, they got bored. How you can let people, their mind soar with you. Just create curiosity. They think with you, and don't let them just bored. As you said, that you have many things that you can play with this inside the storytelling. And as you said, body language, your tonality, how you can adjust your tonality here. Some people, they just, let's say that they relax. How can you just return them back in the context itself? It's a game. It's a very big game. Yeah. So we have our friend also.
Patrice. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you so much, Patrice. We have our
Bhupendra Shavan. Stay calm in the discussion and listen. Right. Yes.
100%. Yes. Thank you so much. We have Shams Said.
Shams is saying, I see the main problem lies in the victory of the point of view and not the most successful solution. How to overcome this? So it's a question. So I think it's a question, if I get it right, is saying that people sometimes brag about their point of view or something, but it's not
forcing.
Forcing their point of view. I think
regardless. I think we came from the same point, because we just see everything from our perspective. So I'll leave it over to our global thought leader today, Dr. Philip.
Thank you. It's so great. I turned into doctor this evening. I'm not a doctor, but hey, this evening I'm a doctor. Now, let me read the question again. So the victory of the point of view. What I see generally, the bigger an organization is, the more points of views you have, and the more need you then have for compromises and for solutions that might not make everybody happy. And depending also a bit on the country's culture and the company's culture, sometimes you know exactly that the only point of view that matters is the highest hierarchy who's sitting there.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, you cannot do it. It's sometimes it's tough, I agree. Sometimes it's like top down. Like everyone is listening, like to the CEO. If he says something, nobody argues with him.
Exactly.
So this sometimes creates, of course, problem because, as you know, in a big company, there must be another voice or voice of challenge. Because people sometimes they're scared to be fired or something if they argue against the point of view. But sometimes you can present your point of view, but you don't have to go into clash with the top management.
Exactly.
But you can just present your point of view and say at the end the decision is yours or something. But my point of view is X, Y, Z. If their point of view is ABC, but you have another point of view, you can say it, but in a nice manner. You don't have to go into clash or telling him, for example, I understand nothing. Or something like that.
That's the last thing you say at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But believe me, sometimes you hear although those people are very highly experienced, and you must respect their experience, but sometimes it's not logic, because sometimes they are looking very top level, and from your perspective, because you're inside the operation, you understand the real problem. So sometimes they don't listen to you. Sometimes no, we've been like 30-40 years and we've tried this and it did not work. So they don't want to give like another shot for some kind of a solution while you're inside the operation and you're working, for example, inside the factory and can see what are the main challenges. So I think it goes both ways. I think top management or leaders, they must listen also to people down. We know that they have big experience, but they must like, for example, not sitting only in their desks or whatever in their rooms, and they're not looking at what's happening inside their factory or their organization. And people also should learn how to express their point of view to top management. Don't go into clashes, of course, with them. And they will respect you, I think, at the end, if you are not just saying yes, okay, and, for example, doing something else, or just being afraid to express your point of view. That's what I wanted to
Yes,
say.
I agreed 100%, Hamamsi, and I think that you just explained it from their point of view. And just
Yeah.
my humble view, it's also there is it's two ways. It's not only one way. So sometimes, yes, we have also a part from our side, as you said, but our part here is to ask what is their personal interest or what is their interest, and
Yes.
by understanding their interest, first thing that you can do is just prepare your stories that you can take the maximum, just showcase in the right manner. Why we had a conflict with them? Because our language is different. We don't know the interest
Yeah.
that they want. We can explain it in the right way if we understand what they are looking for. So giving ourselves a chance to understand what is their personal interest, and it's at the end of the day, I keep saying it's enlightened interest. It's not only, there is no one way interest, it's two ways. So I care about the company and you care about the company, definitely. So how you can reach this midpoint, I would say, road or place that you can explain your interest in the right manner, as you said, and receive them, and you will reach to a midpoint. By the way, if they just resist, as Philip said, I say that it's toxic environment, and you have nothing to be done. But at least you have done your part, and now you are just satisfied. And I've done everything in the right manner. This is what I am saying.
Yeah.
You know.
And keep in mind, the bigger the project, or the bigger the change, or the bigger the challenge that you're about to present here, the bigger the contradictions, or the bigger the resistance will be. And that's when it makes sense already to have some side discussions before you go into the meeting. So you can
Yes.
speak to each of these people individually and already tell them the concept, make sure that each of them understands the benefits. And then afterwards, during that session, they already had the chance to talk to you about the things that they disagree with. And then it's much easier to get a consensus there.
Yes.
What will always happen is that you have a handful of people, or some people who then suddenly have a loss of memory and then suddenly stab you in the back and pretend like they never
Yes.
heard about it before. That can happen. So don't assume that everything will go smoothly, but it certainly helps if you're ready. Again, you do this only for big subjects. You don't do this for every subject. But if you already spoke to 8 out of 10, then you already have a pretty good feeling for how that room is going to feel like. And as we said before, if there's the one decision maker, well, then obviously make sure that you spoke to them also before the meeting. And then it's just a reminder for them, and they say, "Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. You're done." More
It's
work,
easy, yes. Yeah.
but at least you got your project through. And then that presentation itself is just kind of like picking up that final confirmation, just for them to say, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yes.
If you allow me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I still
Philip,
find
for
this
the-
funny.
So we'll jump into the next question, or just the comment. So Nielsen, better to write down 10 worst questions to come in the room. I think it makes sense before, in terms of preparation, just in case if you do any
I
presentation
think,
or any
like
discussion.
play a scenario, sometimes play the devil advocate, or with some colleague or something, try to give you like what will be the questions. Maybe he asks you some tough questions before it, and you try to prepare the answers. Sometimes do some kind of scenarios like this, make you feel comfortable, I think, during a presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just maybe one point to add here, Nelson.
Yeah.
The 10 worst questions, that kind of puts you into a fatalistic mood. This is going to happen. It's the end of the world. It's going to be terrible. I get the urge to say that you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But maybe just in terms of phrasing here, in terms of mindset, maybe don't say the 10 worst, but just say the 10 most typical, the most realistic, or the ones that you can expect. And of course it's going to be those, but going into every meeting thinking, oh my God, what's the worst thing that can happen? You're training yourself to be calm and to stay a pessimist.
Yes.
And I think that's not something we should do to our lives, because the people who are optimistic are the people who make the big changes, that who typically tend to be happier during their entire lives. So just that one minor point, I don't like seeing the 10 worst questions towards the end of the list.
It makes sense, the phrase itself. Yes, I agree 100%.
Definitely.
Thank you, Philip. So
no
we
applause
have.
There. No, keep the applause. I don't want that applause every time.
Okay, we have here some optimistic comment, I think, and from Dr. Nina, of course, an international speaker. So saying using humor, I think that's a good one. So it's like using humor to get through difficult situations. It's usually ease the stressful feeling and anxiety. I love that. It's like edutainment, like we say, how to make it entertaining and how to connect with people. So and people interact with you, and sometimes if you put a good joke or some humor in a sense, it works.
That's relief. Yes, it relieves the stress between you, because sometimes you find like everyone is having their canon, and then explosion happens. So you have to calm down. I agree 100% on that point. Thank you, Dr. Nina. Thank you so much.
I'll rain on the parade near. I do have a slightly different opinion when it comes to humor. Yes, if you're in your own culture, go for it. Once you have a mix of cultures, humor sometimes doesn't translate. So that's something to keep in mind. You might make a joke that your own folks will laugh about. Other people might say that's not funny, and the third group might be offended. So I like humor, but maybe test something before, do something where this is a crowd pleaser also in different cultures. Otherwise, taking things lightly definitely leaves a nicer impression, because you show that you're in command here. Like if I say, oh, sorry, my voice is dry, I need to take a sip of water. That's completely different than thinking, oh my God, I have such a my dry throat and I can't drink, because if I drink, then I'm not professional. If you're relaxed on stage, and if you take it with humor, like, what's going on with my voice today? Give me a second, please. That leaves a completely different impact or a different perception on the audience.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Philip, for this. We have our friend Judith. Just jump in the deep and beat the fear.
And be the fear. Definitely.
Go for it.
Yes. Thank you, Judith.
That's how you gain experience. You only gain experience by doing it.
Yes. So,
is it advisable to have more than one stakeholder while conducting such difficult discussions? This may help in balancing the emotions, and also to ensure that there is sufficient evidences, as one-on-one discussions may end up in allegations. Or insufficient, but I don't know what's remaining.
That's the kind of question where I would ask to please post that again, because I'm a bit confused to hear. That's a nice example. Prague, if you could, please ask this again.
I think let's take the first line. So is it advisable to have more than one stakeholder while conducting such difficult discussions?
So with stakeholder, you mean person presenting here, Prague? Maybe you could let us know in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. We can let them jump into another one. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you. Prague will be waiting.
Thank you, Prague, of course, for
our friend Chandra, definitely.
Chandra, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Our friend Enrique, hello.
Hello, Enrique. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes. Our friend Innocent, he's asking, in case of the fear public speaking, I take confidence in the belief that this is my best opportunity to impress. In time of anger, I remain quiet. I think it's very good approach. I think it's a statement. It's not a question.
Yeah. It's about anger management, I think, and how to manage your anger. So
generally, don't take big decisions, or don't do any major changes in your life when you're very, very enthusiastic or very angry.
Yes.
Typically not good decisions. I learned that the hard way.
Okay, our friend Muhammad Karkar, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Good one.
Yeah,
Good one.
thank
Very
you.
good quote. Thank you. Enrique Acosta, I'm the message. The resources have to be in place, but the message has to be clear, timely, and delivered appropriately. Yes, appropriately. Yes, definitely. Good one.
Thank you, Enrique. So we have Ahmad Qasim, our friend. He's asking if the conflict is available, it's better to cross one bridge at a time. Please advise.
So it's like how to deal with conflict and how to shall we go deep dive in it or take it one piece at a time. I think that's the question of Ahmad. What do you think, Philip, about that?
And here also, it's better to cross one bridge at a time. So this could be, for example, if you get several questions from the audience at the same time, you can go through them point by point, or you might realize, okay, I'm going to pull the emergency brake now and say, okay, obviously there's still a couple of topics that we haven't considered yet. I'll get back to you individually to work on this, and let's speak about it next week during the next meeting. So this shouldn't turn into a complete, shit show where people just, completely ruin your concept. And next time you're going to bring it up, they're going to say, no, but this doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And better go into these one-to-one discussions and cross one bridge at a time.
Yeah, I like this because sometimes you lose the lead onto the presentation. So I think it's a good point. Sometimes it's a question, and sometimes you find some people will go and try to hijack your presentation or take the lead, and and you totally go off the topic of your presentation. So.
And you never know, the other person might even have bad intentions there.
Yes.
Like they might just hate your guts and try to make you look bad. Could happen. But then again, I mean, you're in your safe state here and you don't want that to be ruined. So then it's better to keep that safe state and say, okay, obviously there's still too many questions here that are unsolved. Let's park it for now and let's talk about it next week.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think this can in the same context itself, this can open another question to you, Philip, which is how to deal in a toxic environment. I would say inside a toxic environment or toxic culture itself, how can we deal wisely with people around us? And especially if we don't have a choice. You know, sometimes people that they don't have a choice, they're trying to get out of this toxic culture, but they don't have any option right now. And I believe also it's affecting their mental health. How can those people take the right action or just to manage or adapt in that manner?
Yep. Now, toxic workplaces are a very common phenomenon these days. And just look around, ask around, this is happening. And this is happening basically everywhere. And it's a really bad thing. So this is very bad leadership typically that's causing a toxic environment. At the end of the day, when it comes to this sort of situation, I always feel it's the classic 3, love it, change it, or leave it. So either come to terms with it and say, okay, it's fine this way, and I won't make myself angry. I won't suffer the consequences. I just accept the way it is. Sometimes you need to be a Zen Buddhist to be able to do this. So this only works if it's some smaller things that aren't breaking your spine every day you walk into the office. Change it is figure out maybe there are some minor changes that you can do that already make a huge impact or that make the whole situation feel much better for you. And that could be going to a different department within the same company. Because very often a company actually is fine, but if you have a terrible manager, the whole company feels terrible.
Yeah.
But then analyze it. Is the company the problem or is the manager the problem? So then you can change it. You can still go somewhere else. Or leave it. Leave the freaking place. Just go somewhere else. You don't deserve, the company does not have the right to ruin your body, your mental or your physical health just to make a profit. That is not okay. So if you have the option to do that, then leave. And this is why I'm a big fan, especially if I start to speak to young people whom I focus on. Guys, if you're in your early, mid, late 20s, don't accept a terrible job. Go somewhere else. You have a good education. You can go somewhere else. But if you leave, then demand an exit interview and explain why you're doing it. And if your manager says no, then go to HR. If they say no, then write an email to management, put HR in copy, leave an email address where you can be reached and say, this is what happened. This is why I'm leaving. I believe that this is a problem because of this. Here are some examples. I would suggest to do this and this. I would love to discuss more with you. Then you give them the chance to sort this problem out. If it's one person, might not have an impact. If everybody listening to this podcast starts doing it, then this will have an impact. Then these companies will no longer be able to keep toxic leaders. This will change. And then, of course, afterwards, when you leave the company, you're going to tell all your friends about it. And here again, I would say be fair, separate between terrible manager and terrible company. Maybe it's both, maybe it's only one, but then also be fair to explain, why did you leave the company? What was so toxic about it? Just to make sure that also the company's reputation is, let's say, it deserves to be that way because it was based on the whole company, or was it just one manager? And I think that's really the way to make a big change here in the world, because this is a problem that's getting bigger and bigger. We need to do something about it.
If you allow me.
That's a great answer, please.
You deserve it. Honestly, you deserve it. I like how you analyze it 100%, because you cannot generalize everything. But when we are stuck, especially with a toxic people, as you said, maybe it's a function, maybe it's a department, maybe because of someone only that is doing all of this. But when we are in such situation, we don't analyze, we don't dig deep into these situations, or we don't ask ourselves these questions. But definitely, if we're working with a company that really has a values and they respect people in that way, still I would say you're equipped. You can come back and use your rights. If there is anything that you feel inside the department, if you feel that someone is abusing, someone is using authority, all of this, you can highlight. And because at the end of the day, again, we are employee. Nobody here, I'm a founder of the company, I am owning this company. Yes, we have that mentality of that. But your manager, your boss, CEO, it's still employee. If the company has the values, you're equipped. So don't be afraid at all. You can go and speak. Nobody will harm you.
Again, and also I'd like to say it's the image of the brand, the company now, the image of the brand with all the social media now we are on. Companies also should respect their employees and should work on their brand. They should not say that we are not going to give raise, for example. We're going to fire people. We're going to fire people without giving them an exit interview or all that. So if I play it opposite, so companies also should respect their employees and should take care of that because of the word of mouth. This is the strongest. It will always be the strongest marketing tool. If you lose this reputation, you will not get the right candidates, the right employees. You'll get the people who are just working from 9 to 5, I say, and they don't respect the company, or they will not give 100% for the company, and they will lose motivation quickly. And you should work for the brand. And I like that you said about the 20s, and if you're early in your career and see this, clearly you can go out of the organization and prepare for an exit plan before you have commitments and you're at your late stage of your life, and it's the only source of income, for example. So it's hard for you to exit out of this toxic environment.
And maybe one more point to add. This might be one voice, but if all of us start doing this is more than one voice. Think about #MeToo, Black Lives Matter, Greta Thunberg for climate. These were all individual cases that suddenly start spreading. And with social media nowadays, this goes very quickly. So every single case matters, and toxic leadership needs to be addressed. And I just described one way of doing it, but this needs to be a more and more common discussion we need to have now. Because I can tell you, I even had spine surgery because I had to break my spine basically working for, I won't say any names, but there was a certain person in management who tried to break my spine, and it was injured, but it didn't break. And I walked out straight. But that's the kind of thing that seriously injured me mentally and physically. And this is my body. No company has the right to destroy my body. It's mine.
100%. Thank you, Philip Ahmed. Look who is here.
This deserves an applause by itself. Mr. Supply Chain.
For sure. Please. Mr.
Big
So I
Supply
can
honor.
Chain is
say,
here.
yes, the great guru, we can say the guru of the gurus. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel Stanton. So it's saying thoughts about approaching conflicts with a consistent style versus adapting your approach to the context and personality style of the other person. Yes, definitely.
He's
I
asking
would say,
about thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say mix applies here. So people should typically know what are red lines that you wouldn't cross, what are things that you stand for, what are the values that are behind it. But obviously, if you're dealing with a choleric, that's going to be a different conversation than if you're dealing with a quiet person. So that's why I would always kind of mix it and not turn into a completely different person with everyone you're speaking to, but kind of apply a mix. That's my 2 cents here. Keeping it short
Great.
because I think we only had 1 hour, so I can
Yeah,
talk more
because
about
as
this.
like I said, needs more than one episode.
Yeah.
I'll
This
be
topic.
happy to be
Yes,
back.
yes, you're
It's
always
our pleasure.
welcome to be back. Yes,
Yes. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Dr. Supply Chain, Dr. Daniel.
yes.
So we have our friend Aide
Ida Subai, I
saying,
think. Hi,
yes,
Ida.
Thank
Thank
hi,
you
you.
for
thank you
joining.
so much. Our friend also, Abraham. Nice to
Nice to
see you
see you
again, Ahmed.
again, Ahmed. I think. Thank you so much, Abraham. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Again, another statement from Mr. Supply Chain is saying
Thank
great
you.
points, gentlemen. I would also add uh, Glassdoor has really made employment culture and bad managers a risk that companies need to manage closely. 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you so much, guys. Dr. Philip, I know that time flies, and uh, the best times you don't feel it. Honestly, as
Yeah.
Yes.
we don't this is not 1 hour at all. I
Yes,
think
it
it's
went
more.
quickly. I think the topic
Yes,
is of interest of most of our audience here and for us, and we really learned a lot from you, from your insights. The way,
Thank you.
the easy way you explain and present your points of view. It's really an honor to have you today, and we are
Thank
looking
you.
forward to have you again and again. So we're
yes,
It
so
would be
happy to
my
have you
pleasure.
today.
I would love that
Yes,
because I focus on young supply chainers, so really the first
yes.
years of their career, both in university
We're
and then
still young,
afterwards.
also.
Oh no, no, no.
We're young at
That's why
heart.
I feel that's where it starts. That's where people
Yes,
need to start coming up with the
yes,
behavior because afterwards they need it for the rest of their career. So I think this
yes,
makes a big
definitely.
so, okay.
difference.
Dr. Philip, before we close, so
Yes.
uh, can you tell us how you're helping supply chainers and how they can reach you
Mhm.
wherever you if they what they just won't reach you? How can you
Yep.
help them, and what is the best channel that they can reach you?
Sure. So I already mentioned it before. So I focus on young supply chainers. So that can be
Yes.
still at university or to get their first job or to get the first several jobs. And then later on when they want to get the first leadership role. So this is where I really go into training and coaching for individuals. But it could also be, of course, that maybe the people listening here, they're team leaders and they have young people in their team and they feel, there's still something missing, soft skills, mindset. And this could be things like networking skills or setting goals or, as I mentioned before, convincing presentations. So then I'd, of course, also be very available to support team leaders to help them grow their team. Best way to reach me is here on LinkedIn. So first of all, of course, follow me, have a look. Maybe my content also resonates with you. And then if you like what I'm doing and if I could be of help, then just drop me a private message on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks for the opportunity to explain this. I appreciate that.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
again. Looking forward to have another episode. Thanks for our
Sure.
audience and looking forward again.
Great
Thank you.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
Thanks
so
so
you.
much.
much.
Take care,
And
Take
everyone.
care.